YouTube. It's good. Have some of us become so much of bootlickers and cop apologists to the point that we defend above the law cops, police officers behaving and acting in manners that are not only above the law but are hypocritical and full of double standards? Is that the new law that many of us in our society have sunk to? I'm talking about every now and then when I put a video out, certain videos garner certain feedback. Let's just say certain videos I put out seem to hit a nerve. I'm talking specifically about a video that I published yesterday, right below, of a New York State police cruiser, not only speeding, by the way, with no lights or sirens on Interstate 490 here in Rochester, but also driving with the majority of his rear window covered in snow. Apparently the video hit a nerve in some, to the point that they felt it necessary to reach out to me. And I'm not going to name no names. I don't give anyone shine. Not even a second of fame. But apparently it hit a nerve with certain individuals who felt the need to, and the motivation to message me to tell me they thought it was petty. What's good, Eric? To tell me they thought it was, good morning, Eric. To tell me they thought it was petty of me to publish a video like that. Okay. By the way, and I'll address this in a second, they also said you obviously have nothing better to do than follow cops around. All right. I'll address that in a second. Let's take the first one. Is it petty to point out the hypocrisy and double standard that exists in law enforcement with their above the law mentality? A mentality that they engage in daily. The hypocrisy and the double standard exists in the things that they do and get away with that me or you would not get away with. One example. We all know, and even on this channel and other channels on YouTube and other photos, we've all seen law enforcement many times have a complete and blatant disregard for, someone said they're tyrants, for the disabled. We've seen law enforcement officers park in handicapped parking spaces. Simply why? Simply because they can. I have a video which is very popular here on YouTube, and I've remixed it in other videos, so it's on several videos. Eric said, that's right, thank you for speaking the truth. Absolutely, my man. Thank you for logging in. So is it petty? Ask yourselves, is it really petty to point out the blatant double standards and hypocrisy that law enforcement engages in daily across the country, with things that me or you would be ticketed, fined, and possibly have our motor vehicles towed? Like in the example of the cops that I exposed and walked right up to, and many of you have probably seen the video, the African-American officer that couldn't fucking find his name or his badge number. I'm sorry, he knew his name. That's surprising. Didn't know his badge number. A cop that has been on the force well over 25, 30 years. How the fuck don't you know your badge number? How the fuck do you need to look at your uniform to tell me your badge number? We'll leave that alone though. Keystone cops. But let's ask that question. from this individual who felt it necessary to message me to tell me he thought it was petty for me to expose this. So I ask you now, is it petty that law enforcement, is it petty to expose the blatant double standards and hypocrisy and above the law mentality that law enforcement engages in every single day with things that me or you would be ticketed for, things that me or you would be fined for, things that me and you would have to pay and literally take food out of our family's mouth in order to pay a system that is based on revenue generating? Gemini 7, big noper. That's right. Nope. It isn't petty. So once again, like I opened the video, I ask, is that the new law that some of us have sunk to in society? That's sad. I mean, I know there's certain people here who are sheep and are completely conditioned and brainwashed, right? Puppets. But to find a motivation to reach out to me on one of my social media platforms and message me that they thought it was petty for me to show a New York State trooper driving with his cruiser window basically nearly completely covered in snow. Which, by the way, I don't know about your state where you're watching from, but in New York State, look it up. If you do not completely brush off your car, and if your windows are in any way, shape, or form covered with snow, you could be fined up to $150. So is that the new law that we have sunk to, where someone would really defend the above the law, I give two shits about anything because I can get away with anything because I'm a cop and you're not, above the law, blatant hypocrisy and double standard mentality? There's some people that actually defend that. Unreal. And let me ask you this, for anyone that doesn't agree, or anyone that agrees that that is petty, like the individual that messaged me, for anyone watching now who thinks, I don't know, Davy, I would have let that one go. Let me ask you this. Where do you draw the line? Where do you draw the line? It's a serious question. Where do you draw the line with the above the law mentality that law enforcement engages in? I'll read that one later, but I can tell it's good. Davy VTV, Rochester is full of bootlickers. And I took a screenshot of that, and I'm sorry that I couldn't read it, but I will read that. Gemini 7, when does it end? Exactly. So again, I reiterate once again for the third time, at least the third time, right? Where do you draw the line? Because I tell you this, and believe me when I tell you this, corruption, misconduct, and abuse of power and authority starts small. It starts with a millimeter, then a centimeter, then an inch, then a foot. You know the rest. It starts small. And it is that same above the law mentality of do as I say, not as I do, of I can get away with it because I'm a police officer and you're not, of I can, someone said, why can't I read it? Because I'm trying to keep an eye on the road. And I tell you guys something, I appreciate your comments, but hold off for a little bit till I stop somewhere. I'd love to engage. This is why I do the live, so we can engage. It's the only reason I do the live, so that we can engage and I can communicate with some of y'all, because I enjoy it, especially the real supporters, not the trolls that are just watching because they don't have anything better to do with their lives, and they're empty and lonely individuals who are not creative and not passionate about anything in life. So please just hold off for a few seconds. I'm not trying to blow anyone's comments off intentionally. It's not intentional. I would never do that. I enjoy it. Again, if I didn't, I wouldn't do these lives. Just chill for a second. Let me park. Let me get to where I'm going. Just give me 1 second. All right? Sorry about that. So is that the new low that we have sunk to? Or some of us, where we actually defend the same individuals who give two fucks about you or your family and wouldn't think twice, wouldn't blink twice in issuing you a citation, a ticket, a fine, in robbing money from you and your family to punish you for the very same thing that they do every single fucking day. And some of you defend that? Disgusting. Disturbing. I have no words for it. No words why anyone would defend that above the law mentality, that abuse of power and authority, that hypocrisy, that double standard that comes with the uniform, right? That comes with that thin blue line, right? The hypocrisy that they will fine you for the same things that they do, simply because they can. And it's unreal that some of you would actually defend that. What does that say about you as a person? Fuck about what I think about it. It doesn't really faze me. I'm making this video just to show what a fucking clown some of y'all are who would defend this type of above the law behavior. I love it because it just gives me material to talk about. Adam said, what's going on here? What's good, Adam? Good morning. Welcome to the show. You're a bit late, so I'll fill you in real quick. We're talking about how some individuals defend the above the law mentality and abuse of power of law enforcement. Now, some individuals reached out to me based on a video I put of an above the law New York State police trooper who was riding around in his car with the window more than halfway covered in snow, something that you or me would be fined for. So we're talking about how we have sunk. Some of us have sunk so low in society where we actually would go out of our way to defend the very same individuals who would fine and ticket you and rob money from you and your family, literally take food from you and your kids' mouth to punish you, to generate revenue for their villages, towns, cities, and states. Gemini say, I enjoy his passion. Who, me? That's that Cuban and Italian. It's just a fiery mix. We get that spittle going. We get animated, right? Thank you for the comment. I'm glad you enjoyed my passion. What's good? Subvet 8. What's good, fam? Shout out to Subvet. Shout out to all the new subscribers. Shout out to all the viewers overseas in the UK, other parts of the world. Uh-oh, I got to snapshot that one because that's a long comment. Whenever you see me reach, I apologize. I'm not trying to show you my palms. I just take a screenshot so I can read it later. There's basically a garbage truck in the front, and people are beeping because they're getting impatient. There's a garbage truck collecting garbage here. They're not beeping at me. I'm waiting like everyone else. Just some people are impatient. It's a garbage truck. It's fucking garbage day. You don't want the garbage picked up on your street? Fucking clowns. Society. Everybody wants everything fast, right? Fast food. Fast everything, right? In and out. So I don't know. I just wanted to make that video real quick. That live. Good morning to everyone. It's just really sad. I mean, what does that say about these individuals who actually will go out of their way to defend this? Like literally, like I was saying a few minutes ago, forget about what I think about it. I love it. It just gives me more material to make more content. So I love it. But what does that say about you? Look in the mirror. What does that say about you? If you defend this type of mentality from the very same individuals who would not think twice of issuing you a ticket, of fining you, of taking money from you and your family for the very same things that they do every day with no regard at all, simply because they can. If you defend that, if you defend that type of behavior and mentality, what does that say about you? What does that say about you as a person? About your morals, about your principles? I think it says a lot. I think it says you have none of either. And that's pretty sad. I don't get it. I really, really don't get how somebody would go out of their way to defend that type of mentality, that type of behavior. And we see it every day. We pull up to the stoplight, there's a cop on the phone. Of course, I know, here come the cop apologists. It's official business. Yeah, it's always official business. They're never on the phone with their significant other or their side chick, right? The women that they're cheating on their wives with, right? They're never on the phone with a friend, a fellow cop, about meeting up after work. Yeah, it's never personal. It's always official business. According to the cop apologists, whenever a cop is on a cell phone, which at least in New York State, again, I don't know about where you live, it's punishable by a fine, upwards of $100, I believe. The cop apologists would say, come on, Davy, you're being petty. It's always official business. Of course it is. Of course it is. The same people will defend when cops park in a handicapped parking spot. I got the videos right here proving it. It's official business, Davy. They're allowed to say fuck you to the disabled and park in a handicapped spot. Of course they can. Of course. Cops speeding down with no sirens or lights, window covered in snow, hindering his view, obstructing his view from the rear window of the car, of the cruiser. It's okay, Davy, you're being petty. Why would you point that out? Why do you follow cops around? First of all, let's get something straight. I don't follow cops around. Much like this camera is on right now, whenever I'm operating my motor vehicle, and I suggest and I strongly and highly recommend that you do the same thing. Whenever I'm operating my vehicle, the camera is always on. I'm not following cops around. There's cops on the street, right? And I'm on the street, right? Because I drive on the street, correct? So anything that gets in front of my camera, my dash cam, I call it Davy VTV dash cam, is going to be recorded. But of course, that's part of the mentality of the brainwashed bootlicker puppets, cop apologists, who defend police unconditionally. Unconditionally. The cops can do no wrong attitude. They defend it all. That's sad. Individuals like that have no spine. They don't stand for anything. And they fall for everything. Peace.